Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at something slightly different. This is Broken Arrow, and needless to say, if you're into military equipment, helicopters, armor, aircraft, infantry, all the rest of it, this is kind of like a wet dream for military enthusiasts, for lack of a better description there. This game is just so cool. So I guess it's not really your traditional RTS game. The RTS I grew up playing were games like StarCraft, Warcraft, Command & Conquer, where you were spending a lot of time doing a lot of actions in the game. This one is much more military. I believe there were other games that are similar called Warno, or I think it's like War in Conflict, or World in Conflict, something like that. I haven't played those games, so I'm completely new to this genre, but I've been blown away by the realism and the authenticity of this, and I thought you guys might appreciate this as well. So the way this game mode works is you have to cap as many of these objectives as possible. After a certain amount of time, or after a phase 1, 2, and 3, you will get a certain amount of victory points based on how many of these points you're holding, and also based on how many enemies you killed, how much damage you've done to the enemy player. You can pick whatever kind of deck you want, so you can choose US or Russia, and then you choose two specialties. So for me, I'm playing as the US Marine Corps, and then I think Special Ops, which gives me access to a lot of cool aircraft, a lot of cool helicopters and whatnot. Not so much ground armor, so in this round I'm playing here, I'm mainly, as you can see at the moment, I'm trying to send out little birds to all the flags, and what I'm doing is just dropping a small squadron on each one, just to cap them, right? Because you only need one infantry soldier on each flag to cap it. And then my plan here is basically to go for attack helicopters. You guys know me, I like my attack helicopters, I like my aircraft. I even have a B-2 Spirit in my arsenal with a tactical nuke, so we'll see if we can manage to use that at some point. I think that will be quite cool. But this is going well. You can see, you know, there's 3 objectives here in the middle. We've got a couple over here on the left side, and there's also a couple on the right side. So you really do sort of have to fan yourself out and, you know, try and catch these. So the way this works with... There is no building in this game, right? You just spawn units. And in the top left there, you can see the sort of currency, really, that you have to spawn the units, and also the growth rate of it. And you also have a limited number of units. So basically, as long as you have some currency, you can keep on spawning more units into the game, as long as they're actually available to you. But they will take time to travel, right? So your deployment point is all the way back down there at the bottom of the map, even further away for the aircraft. And at the moment, I've just spawned in an F-35. I do see some tanks coming in from the left side, so we're going to see if we can drop a precision strike. I've also got my Sentinel drone up here, which it's not the B-2 Spirit, it's not the bomber, so it kind of looks like it though, I know, but this is actually super useful. You can see as soon as it's overhead, I'm able to spot all these tanks down there. See if I can get the laser designator on him. Boom. Off go the cluster bombs. Unfortunately, I only have one F-35 here, so that's not going to be enough to take all of these tanks out. And I think what we're going to have to do is... No, can we get another one? Yeah, okay. Put on another F-35 there. See if we can finish these guys off. So you can see, you can do bombing runs, you can do strafing runs. You know, each unit, you don't just like right-click and attack with it. It actually has a number of abilities. You've got flares, you can use the afterburner, as you've already seen, you can use laser designators as well. But we don't have too many munitions on these. Let's see if this is... Oh my god. We just missed them there. That's unfortunate. Okay, that guy's out of ammo, so we're going to send him back to base. So when you send units back to base, you actually recuperate some of that currency that you can then use to spawn the units again. You don't get all of them, you know, depending on how many of your munitions you've used, you will get some, but not all. But that now is going to allow us to spawn some infantry here. And we're going to spawn them in an IFV, just to get them somewhere closer. You can spawn infantry on foot, but they are, like, incredibly slow in this game. You get, like, a small sprint ability. It doesn't last very long. But I have called in a Viper attack helicopter here. Unfortunately, those tanks are just behind that tree line. So line of sight in this game is going to play a very big role. You don't want to... If you just right-click on stuff, your helicopters will fly straight overhead and likely get shot down by infantry with stingers. So you need to stay at a distance and, you know, try to really circle around the target until you've got a line of sight that you need in order to engage him. And these Hellfire missiles here are just doing a great job taking out those tanks. So my plan is I'm going to try and get some more Viper helicopters up here because they are one of the most maneuverable units in the game, and it's just going to allow me to sort of dance back and forth, hopefully, between the left side of the map and the right side of the map and hold on to as many of these objectives as possible. B is absolutely free, so I am thinking I should probably try and cap that soon. See if we can get this tank though first. He's just hiding behind the building there. And whilst I do have things quite zoomed out here, you can always zoom in on any fight, and actually the detail is incredible. It's almost as if you're playing the game in first-person mode or something. It's pretty crazy. You can zoom on the explosions, and it's just incredibly immersive. But this game, you know, unlike other milsims like Squad and Armor and all of that have you taking on one specific role, this game kind of differs. Because now you're the tactician, right? You've got the overview over everything, and I don't know, there's something I love about this. Now, I've called in some supplies down there. In fact, I've had a truck drive up, because you'll notice with the helicopter there that he's completely out of ammo, or at least the Hellfire missiles, which are kind of the best thing about it, are totally depleted. Actually, it's the Hydras there that are depleted. So if you bring in some supplies, you can then land the helicopter, restock, you can also heal up there. Same thing with infantry and tanks. In the case of jets and aircraft and whatnot, though, you can't land anywhere. You basically just have to send them back to base once they've dropped their munitions, and that's just sort of that. So we're doing okay in this round here, guys. We have 4 of the control points here. 3 of them are uncapped, and the enemy have 2. So we are winning. We are slightly ahead, but I do want to try and cap as many of these as I can. I've just called in a second Viper down below because that's just going to give us really some nice firepower to be able to go, you know, take out all these tanks. It seems like my opponent here has a lot of ground armor, so that's why I'm sort of heavily going for the Vipers. I'm trying to stay out of range as those Hellfire missiles launch there and absolutely destroy that tank. So we've got a T-14 over there on the left. I'm still kind of learning a lot of the names because I'm aware that many people playing this game, they know the names of every single piece of military equipment. I don't. So sometimes I see what I think is a tank, and it's like an AA tank, and I just lose my helicopters, but look at that. Boom. The range on these is just insane. These tanks just, they don't have a chance. They are capping the H flag. Now, I don't think those IFVs are going to be able to take on the armor, so I'm restocking my Vipers at the moment, and I've got a couple of Venoms coming in here with some small assault men. So, if I can get those inside the IFVs out of the helicopters, maybe they can push onto the H flag with the support of these Vipers in the sky here. Okay, Vipers have got a good line of sight here. Okay, nice, good connections. I think those cornet thingies, I think those are AAs. Maybe mistaken about that, but I've been trying to stay clear of them. I've also called in an F-35 here because I see some more armor approaching. This is kind of how it works. You tell it to do a precision strike, and it will only hit the ground, but if you laser designate at the same time, it will just go wherever the laser is looking. So, hopefully, Mr. F-35 is taking a while. Let's put on the afterburners. So cool, man. You can hear it breaking the sound barrier, and down comes the cluster bomb. It actually looks like it hit where I originally targeted it there. It didn't go where the laser was, so I'm not sure why that is. But you can use laser designation with a variety of different units. Oh, those guys got absolutely hammered there by the Vipers, dude. Those cannons are brutal. Now, I do have a tactical nuke here, guys, but it cost me 1,000 currency to call that thing in. So, it's gonna have to be the right time. I found in this game, you don't want to spend all your points at once. You want to try to have something in reserve, because, like I say, it's all about tactics, and it's all about reacting to what the enemy are doing. What kind of units they have out on the field. Do you need anti-air? Do you need anti-armor? Do you need anti-infantry? Right now, I've lost the IFVs there, so the small infantrymen have just kind of gotten dumped on the floor. If you lose a vehicle with infantry in it, you don't lose the infantry. They, you know, you can still use them afterwards. They just kind of jump out, I guess. I don't think they're going to be enough to take out... Oh, no, wait, maybe. We're just about to get it there. Meanwhile, we have the enemy taking the E flag, and they're encroaching across this airfield here. The map we're playing, by the way, is a Riga airfield. So I believe... Riga, is that in Latvia? I think it is. I may be wrong about that. My geography's not the best. But our Vipers... Gonna make short work of these guys. There is a Stinger squad there, so I'm targeting that down. And hopefully I'm not going to lose any of these. Those guys are having a bad day. Oh, it's just so... It's so cool. I don't know. I just get tingles every time I play this game. I absolutely love it. It did take me a while to get into it. I will give it that. It was quite hard at first, but once you figure out all the units in the game, and it's not an easy game to get into either. It is quite hard. It is really a lot of fun though. I'm probably overstepping a little bit here with the Vipers. So what's happened here is that tank has smoked on the left. The Vipers have no line of sight, and so they're making a beeline for him. And now I'm way too close to the T-90, and he's actually starting to attack me there with his machine guns. Luckily, though, we managed to take him out there. One T-90 is not much of a match for 4 Vipers. So some of these Vipers are getting low on ammo. Whenever this ammo indicator appears, I believe it's because they have finished one of their kinds of ammunition. So it doesn't mean they're completely out. They're still going to have guns, most likely. But they could be out of Hydras. They could be out of AGMs. And you kind of want everything available. So we're going to send 2 of them back to base there to get repaired. Meanwhile, we'll go for this armor on the ground on the G flag. Oh no, oh dear. They've actually got some AA here. So I may have gotten... Oh, yeah, okay. I may have gone a little bit too close here. I think this is going to go down. Yep, okay, that was definitely a mistake. So there you can see just how fragile they are if you don't keep at range. And you know, those tanks had really good line of sight there. Not just line of sight, but also elevation matters in this game. You can actually hold down Alt, and you can see that they're sort of up on a slight hill. So he was up on a hill, surrounded by trees, not really great for attack helicopters. In fact, I probably shouldn't have engaged there at all. Luckily, I left her at home resupplying, so we're not completely out. So I've called in the B2 Spirit, guys, and we're going to try this tactical nuke. This is 1,000... that it's cost me to bring this in here. I don't know what is on the A flag. I know there's at least 1 piece of armor there. So this might be overkill, but I've never used a nuke in this game before. So we're just going to see how that works. Of course, no afterburner on this jet, but we do have decoys there. We do have flares and whatnot if we get into trouble. See how this does, though. Holy crap, dude. Oh my god. That is insane. Okay, that's... Oh, I almost died, dude. Oh, decoys. Get out of there, man. Okay, that was insane. So those are a little bit bigger than the explosion that we saw from the cluster bombs on the F-35 there. I suppose cluster bombs are only really good for low armored targets or infantry. So maybe I'm actually running the wrong loadout for the F-35s there for this particular opponent that has a lot of armor. In fact, he doesn't really seem to be using infantry at all. Doesn't seem to have any aircraft either, so... Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Alright, so I've called in an F-18 here. Let's see what this guy actually has. Again, I'm not too familiar with all the munitions, but I think he can at least do a strafing run on the ground here. So we're going to try and use that against something. Try and get these Stingers here before they take... Oh, no! Oh, we lost a Viper. And we're going to lose the other one. I'm spamming decoys here like a madman. Lost Viper goes down there. So that is a big shame. We lost all of our Vipers. And like I say, you can call them in again with currency, but they also have a like respawn time. So I've only got 4 Vipers in my deck. And yeah, as you lose them, you're going to have to wait for them. So let's try and do a strafing run on this guy. That's not a great angle. Let's... I for strafing run. Okay, here we go. I think putting him right in the middle of it is probably the best course of action. But again, this is probably better against groups of infantry, really. So this might just be a gun run, actually. I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like it. Oh! Wait, that was a missile or something that he dropped there as well. That's actually pretty effective. So you get kind of like a double whammy there. Gun run and missiles. Or maybe rocket pods or something. So we've got a couple more Vipers called out here, and also this time an AH-64E Guardian. So these guys, I think the Guardians fly a little bit slower than the Vipers, but I think they can also fire from further range. And I think they've got slightly different Hellfire missiles as well, so we'll see how that does mixing that in. Let's spawn a Sentinel over there so we can kind of get a scout on G. I think flying in without having any intel is almost suicide. So I'm going to stay right behind the flag here for the time being, because I can get some vision by my units being on the flag. But beyond that, I don't have any vision, so I want to wait till my drone gets there, just so there's no AA or anything like that. I'd rather have my drone shot down by AA than the attack helicopters here. But I'm going to move up the road as well with this single tank I have on the ground. And yeah, indeed, we do have tank coming down the road to the E flag. And we've got two here on the G flag. Those are actually the same ones that I lost the Vipers to earlier. So, again, I don't want to engage with them. I'm just going to send the tank up the road there and let the tank intercept the AA, because he'll deal with them quite effectively. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and get a nice line of sight. These guys, you can see they're hidden behind the trees there, but donated by the red line. So once they get into that opening on the road, now I'm going to let them have it. I'm probably a little bit too close. I should have pulled back here, but oh, beautiful hits there. We got all of them. I have lost some health on the helis, but that's okay. We can go back and heal up. So the opponent here is doing a really nice move. He sees the helicopters in the sky, and he's going to go into the tree line. And he's actually going to try and engage my tank here as well. I think I'm going to lose the tank if I don't go and help with the helicopters. Hopefully the armor is going to be occupied by the tank. So I feel safer here. Oh, they've also got infantry there in that building. Didn't know about that. But the armor's going to get easily dispatched there, and the infantry as well. There's actually still one of them alive. You can see just how well the tree line actually hides you. Like, even though that guy was right next to my tank, still couldn't see him. Alright. Job done. Good job, boys. So the attack helis can now move on to the next target. We'll put the tank in the cap there, just to cap the flag. I think he's going to be fairly safe. So we don't have a line of sight here on these guys. We're going to, once again, move around. And when these guys are in the open, and there's also a little hill there to the south. So we want to get up on top of that hill so we've got the best line of sight possible. And there we go. We should be able to let them have it now from afar. Oh, beautiful. Those guys didn't see it coming at all. So there we go. F flag taken back with ease, but we actually have to go and cap the flag. So here's our Super Stallion. I'm going to go drop this infantry. We've got 26 infantry in here of various sorts. I'm going to drop them on that flag and then have them move out on foot over to the adjacent flag. The H flag there. Let's go and take that flag back there. Okay, so once I've dropped off infantry, you can just press B and it will send the helicopter back to base. And again, you're going to get back some of those like redeploy points rather. So you can tell how slow the infantry are there. They do have a sprint ability. It has a long cooldown. I think it's got a 60-second cooldown. It doesn't last that long. So it does take you a long time to move around in this game with infantry and with armor, which is why I often opt for a lot of aircraft. I really like aircraft. It depends on the enemy deck, though. If they've got a lot of AA, then aircraft is just not going to work. You probably want more armor then in that case. And I think that's an artillery there up on that hill. So I'm going to try and do a precision strike here with an F-35B. It's probably not going to be enough to kill it. It seems we're not in range here for laser designation. So let's see. Is it like 4,000? Yeah. Okay, 4,000 meters it seems. There we go. Bombs away. And yeah, that cluster bomb, not quite what I want, I don't think, from this aircraft. And we're going to have to send Mr. F-35 back home. Okay, so our Little Bird, sorry, has landed on E. And we cap that again, so I'm going to put this team of scout snipers just into one of the buildings. They probably won't do much to defend it, but it's just nice to have a unit there so that you get some vision around it. Our infantry on the right are plodding along to the H flag. We've also got a tank I can see there slowly crawling towards the H flag as well. So actually it looks like they're going for the C flag. And simultaneously they're really going back to E here. So I'm sending my attack helicopters again to go deal with this threat. And this is nice line of fire. I don't think we're quite going to get them before they get behind the buildings though. You can see as well when you attack units, they become panicked. And when they're panicked, they start moving slower, and then they also get mobility hit and stuff like that. They will just sort of automatically attack units. Like, I'm not even targeting these tanks right now, but they see a line of sight, they see a target, they just go for it, which I'm not against. You can see there as well that tanks in this game also have active protection systems, so those are particularly potent against, well, missiles just like that one. Oh, I think they've got a Stinger team over there. I need to get out of there with those attack helicopters. I have actually called in a second squadron here. So the plan is to have 2 squadrons. When one of them goes and resupplies, the other 3 can be out on the field, and then they just constantly switch. Because, of course, even though they are helicopters, it does take time to get from place to place. Yeah, they've got a group of Stingers there. Oh no, our infantry have been getting hammered. I should have paid more attention to these guys. I think I've actually called in the wrong infantry there. I've got some Stingers, and I don't know what I was thinking calling in Stingers there when the guy just spawns tanks all the time. So I should have probably brought in some tow missile guys or some small guys. But alas, I think that's going to be a failed expedition there. So here you can see I'm bringing in another truck from the south. And we've finished all the supplies. I think I dropped 15,000 kilos of supplies. And we've gone through all of them by resupplying these attack helicopters. But I think this tactic's really paid off. You know, the supplies in this game are actually very, very cheap. So if you can keep your helicopters alive and just keep resupplying them there, it's, you know, an incredible way to whittle down the enemy armor with these incredibly, really, really powerful munitions whilst not losing anything yourself. And now you can see the beauty of having 2 squadrons of attack helis as well, right? 3 of them are resupplying down there, the other 3 are able to engage this armor. So bringing in another drone over here to the right side, just so we can make sure once again that there's no AA or something sneaking around the C flag. C flag looks like it's actually totally empty, so I can just call in a little bird here. We'll get some infantry in there, just take some rangers, go and drop them on the C flag. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Again, it's not really to engage enemy troops with per se. It's just to like cap on the flag. I'm leaving that tank also up on the left side, and the plan there is to let him sort of be the go-between between those 2 flags, so that if either of them get capped, I can quickly go and cap it back again. There's not much of a point repositioning him. He's going to take too long to get across the battlefield. And there is a lot of armor down on the H flag here. This guy is just sitting out in the open with it, so that gets absolutely destroyed. As to those poor infantry. Can you imagine the absolute terror of having 3 attack helicopters just raining down 30mm shells on you? That's probably not fun. Okay, looks like he is sending some more armor from the A flag. And is he going for the C flag here? I don't want him to intercept my my little bird. Hopefully the attack helis can come and take out this armor before they get in range of the little bird. Because if I lose the little bird, I'm definitely going to lose the infantry that's in there. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay, let's get another little bird here. Send it over to the H flag. Send the Vipers back home, or the attack helis back home. Let's send that little bird back home there on the C flag. He's done his job. Dropped off the infantry. And this is kind of like the game, right? You're just constantly trying to make sure that you've got all the flags capped, trying to make sure you're scouting where the enemy is attacking, you're countering him. It's kind of lucky, to be honest, that I have a lot of attack helicopters and a lot of good aircraft at my disposal, and the enemy just so happens to have a lot of tanks. I don't know if he has any aircraft at all, because if he did, he probably would have spawned it to deal with my helicopters, like, you know, with Sidewinders. So I suppose that means he doesn't. Wait, what is that coming up in the distance, though, there? That looks like some kind of a launcher. That could be an anti-air launcher, or it could be artillery. And then that sort of looks like an Osprey, but it's, well, it's the Russian team, so it's not an Osprey, but I'm not sure what it is. So we have finished phase 2 here as well, guys. I've now gotten another 7. Was it 6 or 7 victory points I had before? I think I had 7. So we got another 7 here for phase 2, and it looks like we're definitely in for a win. Phase 2 is definitely the longest part of the game. Phase 1 is only like 10 minutes. Phase 2 is like 30, and then phase 3 is again around 10 minutes long. So you do have a chance to pull it back, but it looks like we're probably going to have this game in the bag. Drop off some more info there on the H flag. There is also a campaign in this game, by the way. It's not just skirmishes like this. And this is just a 1 versus 1 against the AI to showcase the game to you guys. But you can do 5 versus 5 PvP. So you can imagine just how nuts it gets when you've got 5 players on your team and 5 players on the enemy team, all spawning units, all trying to counter one another, going for different objectives and whatnot. It's absolutely bananas. And if you guys want to see a game of that, I can definitely do that as well. But yes, there's also a campaign, kind of eases you into the game a little bit more, and it's also pretty decent. The storyline's pretty decent. I've done the US campaign so far, haven't finished the Russian one yet. But these infantry are not going to stand a chance here on the F flag. So let's go ahead and get some more rangers. I'm basically just selecting what is the cheapest unit to spawn there in the cheapest, fastest sort of method of transportation, which happens to be the Little Bird. Getting some more supplies down there in the south and dropping them off with our truck. And like I said, I'm just going to try and do my best to keep these attack helicopters alive. It seems to be working a treat so far, so we'll just keep doing that. Let's send the truck home now he's dropped off the supplies. And we're going to go and intercept this T-14 here. Oh, he did pop the active protection there, but it seems it was a little bit too late, or it just wasn't good enough. This is also a beautiful angle of engagement here. He's coming straight down the road, so if I can line this up so I'm above the tree line, once we get a shot on him here, he should be toast. I never get tired of this. It's just so incredibly satisfying taking out armor with the attack helicopters here. So he just went past a tree line. He probably should have pulled that armor off the road, knowing I've got attack helicopters there and hidden in the tree line. And then I couldn't have really touched him, even with the drone above. Oh, these poor guys. They're actually surviving for way longer than I thought they would. But there we go. Down they go. Okay, a lot of armor here, coming in all different directions. We got some artillery, it looks like, in the middle of the screen there. Off to the left. Something is capping... No, he's not going to cap the G flag. That's also artillery, I think, above the G flag. So we'll try and position ourselves to take this out. I sincerely hope it's not an AA tank. I'm mostly just going on like what the little picture looks like, not the actual name, because, you know, again, I'm just not that sure on it. Oh, he's moving into the trees. Ugh. Okay, let's move the tank up here, and we'll intercept him just like we did later on. Oh, what's this? Oh, there's a T-90 there. Okay. Well, that guy's dust. He's toast. Oh my god! We're losing the other attack helis. Oh, they've got stingers there, man. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm just going to go and... I think if I run away, I'm going to die anyway, so let's just go and engage them. I think I'm actually out of range. Like, they're not in the trees. I'm just not close enough for the cannons. You actually have to be a lot closer to use the guns here. Okay, they're gone. I think these guys can't fire back, so we should be okay. So let's go heal these guys up. We've got some trouble on the right side of the map there. Oh, yeah, that's definitely artillery. He's shelling my tank right now. Oh, I'm going to lose the tank. Oh, no. Okay, the tank just dodged that shot. Beautiful. Let's get the attack helis in here and take this guy out then. He's definitely not AA. Oh, there's another shell coming. They'll lose the tank. No, the tank's okay. Whew. So, he's working on my H flag there. I'm not too worried. Again, I've got most of the flags. And I think this tactic of just leaving the A flag has worked out okay. I could have tried to make a push for it. And again, if I would cap all the flags at once, I think you just outright win the game. So you can actually win it very early on if you want. But, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I'm not going to take the risk if it's all working out for me so far. So, these 3 helis are looking like they're all resupplied and healed up. We're going to move those out, let the other 3 come in and resupply in the meantime. And these 3 can push up to the H flag and try and take out that armor. Let's also put our drone over that side of the map. I should maybe have 2 drones here, one on the left side, one on the right side, because they seem to be lasting for quite a while. And I do have 2 in my deck. But, well, we'll make do with the 1 at the moment. You can see the vision radius of them is just pretty insane. So as soon as they get anywhere close, everything is just spotted. So we'll move our attack helicopters into position on the left side here. You really do have to think about, I can't stress that enough, if you're like me and you kept losing your helis at the start of the game because you right-clicked on something, they didn't have line of sight, or they didn't have range, and they just flew overhead and got killed by stingers, you really need to be thinking about line of sight, elevation, all that kind of thing in this game. And as you can see, if you do that, attack helis are insane. So that armor is going directly south here to my flag. I think we're going to be able to intercept him easily. Let's move these guys to the left side of the map, just in case anything happens there. We've almost got this one in the bag, guys. 1:49 to go on the clock here, so I don't see anything going drastically wrong for us.
The Guardian is in the air. Guardian ready. The little bird is in the air. Chalk's on the deck.
Okay, one more little bird here. We got some rangers coming up to the H flag that are going to cap that one. You can spawn little bird variations with miniguns on them, but since I've got the attack helicopters here, I didn't bother to put them in my deck because, as you can imagine, little birds with miniguns, they are more expensive to spawn. So, you know, also kind of situational. They're only good against infantry. They're not going to do anything about against the vehicles in the game. So, yeah. You know what? Maybe we should actually... The game's almost ending anyway. Maybe we should make a push for the A flag there, because we're capping... Oh, we should be capping the H flag in a sec once these infantry get on the ground. If I can cap the A flag, we just win. There's maybe not much point because there's only 30 seconds left, but I just want to see if that's what actually happens. That's the way I understand it, is that that's how it works. You cap every flag, and you just win the game outright. We don't really have anything to actually get there in time, though. I don't have any... Yeah. Oh, well, let's go over this armor here. They actually do have some aircraft. Look at that. I think it's transport. But, oh, it actually has AA as well. It's just taken out our drone. The S300V4 Ante. Oh, well, GG's. Didn't get to see that one. I think he spawned his AA far too late there. So, that's a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave your thoughts below. Let me know if you want to see more Broken Arrow. I know it's a bit different for the channel, but, love to hear your thoughts on it nonetheless. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.